to this very special review of the 2015 SATUC World Cup, a brand new international five-a-side football competition for boys who are orphans, refugees or lead difficult lives.
During the programme, we'll go behind the scenes of the tournament, which took place in Cairo at the end of August 2015. Hear from the creator of SATUC, Princess Sheikha Al-Thani, get the thoughts of other ambassadors who were there to support the players, bring you footage from some of the matches and reveal which team went home with the magnificent SATUC trophy.
But first, what is SATUC? Who created it and what are its charitable aims?
The SATUC World Cup is a new biennial five-a-side football tournament for boys aged 14 and under who are orphans, refugees or come from disadvantaged backgrounds. It was created by Princess Sheikha Al-Thani, a keen sportswoman and footballer and a member of the ruling family of Qatar who has lived in London since 2011, having been brought up in Egypt, England and the USA. Princess Sheikha has been involved in projects that assist underprivileged children for her whole life and from a young age spent her annual vacations visiting some of the most deprived regions of Egypt. Shocked by the unnecessary suffering she witnessed and feeling a natural responsibility to help those less fortunate than herself, at the age of just 14, she decided to found SATUC. Sheikha Al-Thani for Uniting Children seeks to provide opportunities for marginalised and disadvantaged people all around the world.
When we first started SATUC, we used to do like different days for the children to, bring in clowns, bring in activities that they'd like to do, something that, would make them have fun. And one of those days, we took them to Fade. And the children, before we left, they were like, Sheikha, we're so happy, thank you so much for everything you've done. We want to invite you to our orphanage so you can play with us football, because we heard that you used to play in Chelsea Academy and you've played, all your life. I'm a big fan of football. And since it was a lot of orphanages that asked me to play with their children, I decided to do a tournament where they can all meet together, they can all make new friends, and it was a great success. They were very happy and it just made me think, what if we take this to the next step? We chose Egypt because I'm half Egyptian and I was raised there, all of my life, and I feel like the Egyptian people, the actual country, gave me so much and I want to give something in return. And facing my first project in my hometown, in my country, would be such an honor and a privilege, and it'll be somehow giving back to the country I lived in.
The first ever SATUC World Cup was launched with a press conference at the Arab-British Chamber of Commerce in London, attended by many dignitaries including the British team management from Two Touch Rules and the president of the 2015 SATUC World Cup, Egypt's footballing legend Ahmad Hassan. It was hosted by UK television executive Andrew Thompson.
I think it's hugely impressive that a girl of 15 is taking the lead on this. She's managing to fit in her examinations alongside planning a major charity event. It's hugely impressive, and I think it's particularly inspirational for the children that will get involved with the charity, that someone of a similar age is their role model and leader, and good luck to them.
Fantastic opportunity for young people that would never ever get the chance to be able to see other parts of the world, to meet children from other deprivation areas, to actually experience something that they've never experienced before. So we're really excited. I think the SATUC idea, what Sheikha Al-Thani has put together, is nothing short of phenomenal. We support 100%. We're behind you, Sheikha, to make sure that this is a success, not just for the England team, but for all of the teams that are coming from all the different nations. So we are really looking forward to being part of this and to making it a success.
With the venue chosen, 8 nations were invited to compete in the Cup, and trials were staged across the world to find the 64 boys who would travel to Cairo at the end of August.
Hundreds of boys from every region in Egypt applied to take part in the SATUC World Cup, and the qualification trials were repeated across the world. In London, many players competed for places in the British team, and the lucky few were very excited about the prospect of travelling to Cairo.
My name's Fraser, I'm 15 years old. I'm the captain of the England team going to Egypt. I want to thank Sheikha Al-Thani for giving us this opportunity to go over to Egypt. We're going to go over there and win it. And thank you for giving us this opportunity once again. England! England! England!
At the end of the global trials, 8 different squads have been selected to represent Egypt, Syria, Great Britain, Mauritania, Algeria, Philippines, Morocco and the Ivory Coast. But before the main event, SATUC staged a very special friendly match in July when Princess Sheikha and her brother Prince Sultan welcomed many of their ambassadors to Cairo, as well as members of the international media. Egypt beat Syria 6-0 in an exciting encounter that was less one-sided than the scoreline suggested, but the stage was now set perfectly for the beginning of the 2015 SATUC World Cup. On August the 27th, Princess Sheikha and Prince Sultan were at Cairo International Airport to greet the teams who'd been flown in from around the world by Egypt Air. And there was great excitement as the squads of 8 players and 2 coaches met with their hosts for the first time.
When I first saw the boys arriving, I can't begin to describe my emotions. I felt really happy and really excited to see how it all comes together. All of the hard work and dedication that we've put in SATUC in preparation for this World Cup, how they'd make new friends, how our ambitions would finally come true. And more than that, it finally made me feel that sense of purpose that I've been longing for, that made me feel, you know, I did something, and I did something that's good.
In order to qualify to play in the tournament, the boys all had to be born after July 2002 and eligible to represent their country according to the current FIFA regulations. Having arrived in Cairo, they soon settled into their new temporary home at the amazing 5-star Fairmont Towers and Heliopolis. As well as their travel and accommodation, SATUC provided the players with their match kit and leisure clothes, their food and drink, transportation, security, medical care, insurance and training facilities. So the boys, many of whom were orphans or refugees, were given a unique opportunity to learn and develop and feel fully supported. One of the famous SATUC ambassadors who travelled to Egypt to support the tournament was the Royal Ballet's Colombian star Fernando Montaño. He arrived from London even though his home nation wasn't represented this year, because he knows exactly what it is like to overcome the challenges of growing up in an area of great deprivation.
Especially when you come from a very difficult backgrounds, you really need to feel like you have some hope and like somebody really care about you, and that you can just be the best that you could be.
And for the many footballing ambassadors, including legendary names such as Ahmad Hassan and Rabah Maja, there was a very special SATUC match for them to take part in, so the boys and spectators could watch some of the great players in action, even though they were slightly slower than in their prime. Princess Sheikha also pulled on her trainers and joined them on the pitch.
Playing in the ambassadors match was very nice because I was able to play with legends from the football world, and seeing them play again was such a fulfilling thing for the children, and it was able to show the world how footballing stars all came together and all support these children.
The draw was held at the opening press conference and overseen by former Channel 4 Head of Sport Andrew Thompson and Egyptian TV's Ashraf Mahmoud.
There was a huge sense of anticipation as the names came out of the yellow balls, and after their bruising July encounter, there was an opportunity for Syria to gain swift revenge when they were drawn against Egypt, and with Great Britain and the Philippines completing the lineup for Group 1. Group 2 became an all-African mini-tournament, with the Ivory Coast, Algeria, Morocco and Mauritania drawn together.
With the draw made and preparations completed, the teams from Group 1 arrived at the Cairo International Stadium and the 2015 SATUC Cup began.
With the ceremonies completed, the players warmed up and prepared to get onto the pitch and take part in the group games. The 64 boys had travelled many thousands of miles between them, but whatever the differences in their backgrounds and lives, they were now all brought together by the fantastic sporting language of football. Egypt proved to be the strongest side in Group 1, and having beaten the Philippines 5-0 in the opening game of the competition, they also put 6 goals past the team from Syria. But the team of Syrian refugees were comfortable 5-1 winners against the Philippines, and they were cheered on by almost 300 home supporters who had been specially invited to the tournament by the organisers.
We had Syrian refugees in the crowd to support the children who came from all over the world, and having these refugees come along was very important. They might not have realised it, but we all know how much Syrian refugees have suffered and how they've been through a lot. And having an event like this can make them think of a brighter future, if only for a moment. Make them see their children, see other children, and how they're trying to make a place for themselves and how they're trying to make their dreams come true, which is important.
Unfortunately, the noise of the crowd couldn't help them against Great Britain, and Syria lost that match 4-1. And having met Princess Sheikha and other dignitaries, the London side also went on to defeat the Philippines 4-0. The key encounter in the group came on the second afternoon when Great Britain met Egypt. It was one of the most exciting matches of the entire competition, and the hosts ended up as comfortable 5-2 winners. So the home team easily progressed to the semi-finals with 3 convincing wins and a goal difference of +14. They were joined in the final 4 by 2-touch rules from London, but for the boys from Syria and the Philippines, the tournament unfortunately ended at the group stage. In Group 2, the matches were dominated by the very different stories of the teams who finished at either end of the table. The Ivory Coast won all 3 of their games, including this 4-1 win against Mauritania, whilst the Algerian side struggled against the outstanding quality of opposition. Having lost 7-0 to Mauritania, they conceded 11 to Morocco and a further 8 to the group champions. The team from the west coast of Africa were convincing winners of the group, but the 4-4 draw between Morocco and Mauritania meant they were tied in second place with 4 points each. However, because of their superior goal difference, it was Morocco who progressed to the semi-final. Algeria had given their very best, but unfortunately were comprehensively outplayed in every match, and they joined Mauritania as spectators for the rest of the tournament. The semi-finals were held on the second afternoon and saw Egypt face Morocco and the Ivory Coast play Great Britain. Egypt had an extremely easy passage to the final, winning their match 12-4, but the second semi was a far closer encounter. The Ivory Coast eventually won 5-3 to set up an exciting conclusion to the inaugural SATUC World Cup. The Londoners beat Morocco 5-2 to clinch third place, and then, after many months of planning and made possible thanks to the amazing support of the Egyptian government, the Cairo International Stadium, referees and officials, medical teams, ambassadors, media, UM7, Egypt Air, the Fairmount Heliopolis and Towers, the Egyptian FA, the Ministry of Social Solidarity, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and all the many friends and volunteers, as well as the players and coaches, and the supporting organisations, the stage was set for the final of the 2015 SATUC World Cup. With the home support to cheer them on, the Egyptian team were once again convincing winners and worthy champions as they beat the Ivory Coast 5-1 to lift the very beautiful SATUC Cup. Although the runners-up did win the Fair Play Award, which encapsulates the SATUC spirit. After such a successful tournament, the founder of SATUC, Princess Sheikha, was able to reflect on what had been achieved.
When the World Cup finally ended, I felt a sense of fulfillment that, all of the hard work, all of the dedication that we put in to making this come a reality was actually for a good cause, and it actually was a success. And, when we saw the children, how happy they were, even though, some of them lost, some of them won, they all were very happy to see the beautiful country, my beautiful home, Egypt, and they were able to make new friends, and they were very grateful for that. But also, we were able to show the world through the media, obviously, how, football legends, ambassadors, media ambassadors, all of them were all united into making this come true, into making the world realize how we're all together. And it's not only about politics, it's about us as people.
And the footballing ambassadors were also very happy to have been a part of the SATUC Cup, including the most capped player in international history, Ahmad Hassan.
طبعا في الأول هي بروفة طيبة الحمد لله. يمكن أنا شايف إن اليوم الحمد لله نجح، ويمكن حاسين بانبساط الناس وفرحة الناس وبالتنظيم اللي معمول. فخليني أقول لك كل الشكر لكل الناس اللي قاموا بالمجهود الكبير ده إن هم يخرجوا الموضوع بالشكل الحلو ده. نتمنى إن شاء الله بإذن الله إن دي تكون البداية بقى للمونديال، ونشوف نجاح مبهر، ونشوف الناس كلها مبسوطة، ونشوف الناس كلها بتدعم الولاد وبتساند الولاد الصغيرين، وإن يطلع مونديال، أول مونديال يطلع من أرض مصر إن شاء الله بإذن الله، الناس كلها تسعد بيه والناس كلها تتكلم عليه، ويكون تنظيم قد كده إن شاء الله أكتر بكتير.
With the football over, the players were treated to an amazing day out at the pyramids.
As with most visitors to Egypt, the players were surprised at just how close these amazing structures are to the centre of Cairo, and they had an incredible few hours discovering the story behind the last of the 7 great wonders of the ancient world. And of course, they had their photos taken there as well.
I took the children to the pyramids because, the SATUC World Cup isn't just about playing football. It's about seeing new cultures, it's about meeting new people, it's about seeing the next generations come together. And because the first one was in Egypt, we obviously needed to take them to the pyramids because it's such a big part of the Egyptian culture.
Be in the middle of the pyramids and all these, monuments that you only probably see in photos or. So I think for them, culturally, it was like a big change, and there is something that they will never forget.
The SATUC World Cup had grown out of an idea from one young woman, Princess Sheikha Al-Thani, but its impact is already reaching and touching the lives of orphans, refugees and vulnerable young people in many different parts of the world.
SATUC is a fantastic organisation because it really gets down into the details of kids' lives. Sheikha and her team really think very deeply about how they want to change kids' lives for the better.
المسؤولين عن ساتوك وبقيادة شيخة الثاني، لأن الحقيقة هي خلقت الحلم والحلم بيتحقق، يعني كل يوم عن التاني الحلم بيتحقق. مجهود كبير جدا، مجهود جبار جدا ان هم يجمعوا كل النجوم العرب وفي نفس الوقت ان هم ينظموا الحقيقة انطلاقة لتنظيم البطولة.
قبل كل شيء أهني شركة ساتوك وعلى رأسها الشيخة الثاني على هذه المبادرة الناجحة تماما، وأنا سعيد جدا لأكون سفيرا لهذه المبادرة لكأس الأيتم.
My name is Cava Cudicini. I'm honored to be an ambassador for the SATUC 2015 Football Cup in Egypt. I'd like to encourage all the players, people involved in football and charitable work to support and wishes all success to SATUC in achieving their goals.
ساتوك وخاصة هاد البطولة العالم للأيتام، أنا أتمنى من الله سبحانه وتعالى أولا يعني تكون هاد النسخة الأولى هنا في بلدنا الحبيب مصر، تكون أولا تأخذ واحد الصدى كبير وتميز بأشياء حلوة ونستقبلوا احنا إن شاء الله بحول الله في الدورة الثانية 2017 في بلدنا الحبيب المغرب.
انتوا تغيروا من العالم، تبقوا حاجة، ترفعوا راسنا.
As the squads prepared to leave Egypt, the organisers were able to reflect on the success, impact and legacy of the Cup. All the children were given an incredible life-changing opportunity to meet other boys from around the world, experience the unique atmosphere of an international sporting event and learn key skills including leadership, teamwork, communication and perhaps most importantly, self-belief. SATUC have now created, with the help of the Egyptian FA, special fitness and training programs for the Syrian children so they are not denied the chances that others take for granted. And some of the players, including Mohammed Isaac and Mohammed Eshak, had so impressed the watching scouts that they've now been taken on by clubs in the Egyptian national team and are proudly called the Sons of SATUC. But the 2015 World Cup was just the beginning, and SATUC's plan is for the event to grow and be held every 2 years so that it benefits all the participating children, and this is why SATUC are appealing for your help. There's already been a special Safe Egypt tournament in Sharm el-Sheikh when more than 150 Syrian refugees and Egyptian orphans stayed in the Hilton Hotel and took part in a special five-a-side event in the nearby Concord Hotel. They were supported by SATUC Ambassador and the 1995 FIFA World Player of the Year, the legendary George Weah. And in January 2016, in recognition of her charitable work and the creation of the SATUC World Cup, the World Federation of United Nations Friends appointed Princess Sheikha as one of their Goodwill Ambassadors and gave her an honorary doctorate at an award ceremony held in Sharm el-Sheikh.
It was a truly wonderful few days for the boys and their coaches, and the good news is the SATUC World Cup will be returning in 2017, bigger and better than ever. 24 nations will come together to play football, share experiences and show the world what they have to offer, proving once again that football is the universal language for young people in every part of the globe.
If you would like to be a part of the 2017 SATUC World Cup or want to find out more information about our plans and how you can be a sponsor or supporter, please visit our website at www.satucfootballcup.org.